I believe that Yair Rodriguez should challenge Alexander Volkanovski for the title. Look, Max Holloway pulled out with an injury, and everybody knows that. And I think that this is the special time just to throw Yair Rodriguez in there. I believe that this will be his first title fight, yeah. And I do accept the fact that he lost to Max Holloway, but you guys cannot say that the fight wasn't close and that it arguably could have gone to Yair Rodriguez. Yes, I do in a way believe that Max Holloway won, but if they would have called it a draw, honestly, I wouldn't have been complaining. I believe that Max barely won, and when I say barely won, by the skin of his teeth won. I just want to see this matchup because I believe that this, in a way, is one of the toughest matchups for Alexander Volkanovski, because Yair Rodriguez is a flashy, hard kicker. I mean, the guy is probably the best kicker in the sport if you look at it just based off a technique standpoint. Now, when you look at it based off of, setting the kicks up, and Yair does just kind of throw kicks. He just kind of, in a way, forces them sometimes, where he just kind of launches a kick towards your body or towards your head. No real setup, just all speed, athleticism, and technique. Okay, yeah, I get it. But he has used his kicks in the past very wisely, especially against Max Holloway, as really good indicators of range. And that is why, that main reason alone is why I believe that this is going to be a tough fight for Volkanovski, is because of the range and the kicking ability of Yair. Because Alexander Volkanovski is much shorter than Yair Rodriguez. And look, Max Holloway was the same height, I believe, as Yair Rodriguez, and they had similar reaches. Yair had a longer reach, but listen, what I'm basically saying is that Max Holloway was similar in size to Yair Rodriguez, meaning that he was able to score success in places that Volkanovski might necessarily be able to. The other thing is that Yair Rodriguez could use a lot of those teep kicks, body kicks, leg kicks to really neutralize the power of Alexander Volkanovski. Think about it. Alexander Volkanovski generates most of his powers through his hands, right? I mean, whenever he lands, typically he has a big effect on his opponent. Whether that doesn't necessarily just mean, he's going to knock the guy out. But what it means is that basically anytime he lands, you're going to feel it, you know? He has high-level boxing, high-level kickboxing. Alexander Volkanovski is probably, arguably, in my opinion, the most complete fighter in the sport if Petr Yan didn't exist, you know? I believe that him and Petr Yan got to be top 3 most well-rounded fighters in the sport at the moment. And that is, in my opinion, not even arguable if you really are a fan of the sport. Yair Rodriguez isn't as well-rounded, but in the striking department, he could really shine. The only X factor, I believe, is that I just don't know how well this guy's takedown defense is going to be. That is my only gripe, is that I don't necessarily know if he can keep the fight standing. But if he can, I'm really curious to what type of damage he could do. Alexander Volkanovski would have to, and I mean have to, get into boxing range if he's going to strike with Yair Rodriguez, which I just don't think that he's going to fully just do. I don't believe that he would do that. But what I do believe is that he's going to try and get into the face of Yair Rodriguez and really push a pace on him and try to bring him to the ground. And in the early stages of Yair Rodriguez's career, well, I wouldn't call the fight against the Korean Zombie early stages of Yair Rodriguez's career, but in that fight with the Korean Zombie, obviously Yair Rodriguez was slowing down and his footwork wasn't the best. I mean, he really just stayed in the range and just didn't move his feet as well, kind of letting the Korean Zombie just tee off on him at moments. That was very strange. And if he fights like that, yeah, he is going to get lit up like a Christmas tree, possibly even knocked out if he doesn't move his feet. But in the Max Holloway fight, he displayed good mobility. Although the guy got hit a lot, it was more so, most of the head strikes were landed on Max than it was on Yair. Max just really pushed the pace on Yair and was really able to get in his face and was just able to capitalize, ultimately winning him the fight. But dude, with a fight that split, with a fight that 50-50, bro, that it literally could have went either way. I don't care what anybody say. That fight was as close to a draw as you can get. I literally give it a hair to Max Holloway. And if Max was next for the title, but Yair just put on that type of performance with him, you could argue that Yair Rodriguez is the third best guy in the division if we consider Max Holloway the second best guy in the division. Why not? He almost beat him. Why not? You know? And who's to say that he couldn't exploit some holes in Volkanovski's game that Max Holloway just couldn't? Because Max Holloway really relies on his boxing and his pace. And when you're outlanding Max Holloway and you're landing the harder shots, you're typically going to beat him. That is just how the name of his game goes. He has to be pouring it on and landing combinations to really be winning the fight. Otherwise, he can't really go anywhere else. He started throwing more kicks, but he's not a kicker of Yair Rodriguez. Now, on the flip side, Yair Rodriguez is damn near the opposite. He has good boxing, but it's more wild, and he's not as technically crisp as Max Holloway. Not even close, right? So, Alexander Volkanovski is a much better boxer than Yair Rodriguez, but he cannot kick with Yair Rodriguez. Yair Rodriguez is not even comparable in the kicking game. He is just by far the best kicker. And how is Volkanovski going to deal with those kicks? I just can see a scenario where Alexander Volkanovski drops his hands for just a split second, maybe to throw a combination, exit out of the exchange. Yair Rodriguez comes over the top with a high kick and just knocks him smooth out. Or vice versa, Alexander Volkanovski is at range and it's kind of hard to find himself into that boxing range. Yair Rodriguez fakes to the body and goes straight to the head, putting Volkanovski down. He has good recovery, but I mean, how many kicks to the head or kicks to the legs can he take? Or kicks to the body before, ultimately wilting? But I want to know what you guys think. I just really think that this should be the next fight in the featherweight division. This fighter should fight Alexander Volkanovski. All right, it's been your boy Trippy, and I'm out, man.